So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again with the Real Talk podcast. 8 points clear at the top of the table. Catch us if you can, Man City. And big up to everybody who's in here already. 200. Make sure you are smashing the like button, subbing to JEZ'S channel, link in description. Following Kenny's Instagram, link in description as well. Second channel's pinned comment. More videos will be coming out this week on that as well. So, big up to everyone here. Jez, how you been, mate?
Good. Great weekend. Absolutely still buzzing over that result against Palace. Class performance, man, all round. Every player put in a shift, and I can't fault any of them, to be fair. I think it was absolutely brilliant. Arteta, I salute you, my friend, because you got it absolutely bang on. Your substitutions were peak, and it's all good. 8 points clear. International break coming up, which I absolutely hate, but that is what it is. And we move on, and I can't wait for it all to get started again against Leeds.
Yeah, how are you, Kenny? You're obviously you was obviously at the game, and how's your weekend been since, mate?
Oh, it's been fantastic. We're 8 points clear. You know, I had a great time. You know, our greatest manager in my lifetime came to the ground as well, seeing George Graham, the 1971 team, seeing Pat Rice at half-time, seeing Bob Wilson, Frank McClintock, captain fantastic before Tony, and obviously George Graham, the architect of everything that's great about this club. Our greatest ever manager. Without George Graham, there's no 1989 at Anfield. No. Mind you, probably in tongue in cheek, we probably wouldn't have heard about it from an estate agent in East London. Always Arsenal. or you know the one who couldn't tell whether the away end was in the left hand, right hand side, or the one who thought that they gave flowers to the Arsenal fans when the Arsenal players gave flowers to those who suffered bereavement in Hillsborough. Oh well, you know, you've got to get famous somehow. And also, let's not forget Copenhagen.
Is that 1994? She couldn't remember where she was sat at Anfield during that game.
Yeah, it's the wrong end. I don't know. I think she was the side she was in the right end, but she forgot what side it was. I mean, when you go to games like that, you never forget anything about the day. You don't even forget whether it was raining or not, whether the sky was blue or grey. But hey, the most memorable night of someone's life, and they forgot about it. But let's not forget Copenhagen as well. Our last European trophy. It's ironic that 3 days before George was in the ground, we got knocked out of Europe again.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Listen, it's. I know a lot of younger viewers will always pick Arsene Wenger as the greatest ever manager, and I get that. I totally get that. It's all subjective, and it's all down to the individual, isn't it? But the last time we won in Europe was with George Graham. That's how long ago it was. That is how long ago it was, people. But on to the game of the weekend just gone. Crystal Palace, managerless Crystal Palace, sacked Paddy Vieira. And got worse. No new manager bounce. Looked for the first 25 minutes of that game, I was kind of worried. I can't lie. I was sitting there, I was thinking Saka's giving the ball away a lot. Yeah, we're pressing high, but we're leaving a real high line. They're getting in so high at the post, hit the back of the goalkeeper and went out, luckily. And yeah, it was looking a little bit nerve-wracking. They had another chance as well. I think it probably would have been flagged offside. I think Odson Edouard. But as soon as we got that Martinelli goal, and what a goal, by the way, what a finish that was. Yeah, the way he spun and hit that, the touch, the movement, everything, absolutely perfection. And then after that, it was just a rout, really. I know they had one more half-decent chance from Zaha where he whistled one across the front of the goal. Other than that, it was comfortable. All the subs, we made subs early, and every single one of them could have been up for man of the match. Let's be real. It was great to watch. But Jez, what did you make of it, mate?
Absolute class. Thoroughly enjoyed that game. I'll tell you how much I enjoyed that. I couldn't believe how quick it went. And it's that watching that game just seemed to go like that because it was brilliant football. And I can't remember what game I said that about before Christmas. There was a similar game And we just absolutely, I thought, is this 88 minutes? Really? You know, with that, it's nearly over. Surely not. And yeah, it was absolutely brilliant, mate. I'd love to have been there. I truly would have done. I can't imagine what the atmosphere was like. It would have been absolutely bouncing. Kenny, you were there. Lucky for you. Amazing. Can't fault one player. Loving it every way. And I said, Julie, dare I start to believe? Dare I? Well, yes, I am, because I think without a major capitulation, I think we're going to do this. And I'm the only one I'm really worried about is Liverpool away, because we're so crap there. The way we're going, I think we could do Man City away, and or walk out with a draw. I'll take a draw up there all day long, no question, because that will put them to death. So yeah, lovely, absolutely lovely, man.
Yeah, it's good, man. And we'll come to the international break in a second. I know Kenny loves international football.
Love it.
Me personally, I don't, but I do think it's a good time to have an international break for Arsenal right now, put it that way. But Kenny, you was at the game. The atmosphere on TV looked mad. I can't lie. Like, it looked lively, really lively. And you said the other week after we beat Bournemouth that the fans were still in the ground half hour after the game, and it was like that sense of this is happening. Yeah, and obviously we battered up Fulham last week. Disappointing result in midweek. Obviously we were very upset with that, the three of us, and many in the chat as well. But that was the right way to respond, wasn't it, mate? And what a performance. What was it like being there, mate?
Oh, it was fantastic. The atmosphere before then was actually brilliant. I think, I know they kind of divide opinion. The Ashburton Army divide opinion amongst some fans. Some fans like them, some fans don't. Opposition fans think that don't have particularly much respect for them. But I mean, they got a ball rolling. The drums, the songs, got involved, and then in the ground it was brilliant. I got there, believe it or not, I got there about 45 minutes before inside the ground. It was empty, absolutely empty. Then all of a sudden, within 15 minutes, it would bang, a buzz. When the players came out of train, there was a buzz. It was just brilliant to be there, and the football was just fantastic. We were sharp as razors. I mean, obviously Benjamin White to get special mention because he robs Sahar, and he just starts brawl running, getting that great goal by Martinelli. Saka was just unplayable, and everyone put in a shift. And as Jez says as well, substitutions. Everyone made their mark when they came on. It was really good to watch. And I think the most important thing is that we were worried about having a thin squad, but at the moment it's looking as strong as ever because everyone's fit. Obviously, we've got a couple of casualties with Saliba and Tommy Asu, but you know what? It's one of those things where Rob Holding's has done a really good job for his manager and a good job for the fans because he's lowered their blood pressure because we had this kind of reservations about him, but setting off when he came on Thursday, brilliant. Yesterday, brilliant. Oh yes, you got to play who the opposition for is. Crystal Palace, devoid of any confidence. They're sloppy. They're not as sharp as they were last season. They're not happy. They're probably not happy that they lost a player like a manager respecting, Patrick Vieira. But you know what? That's not our problem. Our goal was to put her under pressure, and we did that spectacularly. There was no drawbacks whatsoever. No draw whatsoever. I thought VIR was a bit funny. Like after
literally every goal they were trying to check.
Yeah, after our second, Palace and third, and Palace is full. The goal they pulled back for some reason. VIR was needed. I felt like it was laughable. There was no need for any of those goals to be in any kind of dispute. But you know what? It is a good time to rest a few players. It's a good time to get JEZ'S fit because we're going to need him in the running, and he's going to be able. It's going to be a situation where he needs to put his manager under pressure, especially with Trossard playing good football, Martinelli in great form as well. It's a win-win, and then Eddie could come back. Not that we've needed Eddie, and not that we rate Eddie very highly, but can you imagine if we had him fit as well? It's in good stead, but again. It's getting very hard to say anything other than, we are the title favourites, and it's going to be very difficult for us to be stopped because, City are running out of games. our Colin said our cautiousness is running out of games as well. But, you know, I could go as far as say that if we win at Anfield, then I say respectfully the title's over. It's ours. That's how close we are to it.
Mate, I totally agree. I think that's a massive game because we've gone to Tottenham away year after year after year and been bullied really, and always ended up losing the game. This year we went there and wiped the floor with them. You know, we've won 9 London derbies, which is a record in one season, and we look kind of unstoppable. I can't lie. Like the performances in the cup competitions, well, obviously we're very upset by them, but at the same time, if we end up winning the league, I don't think any of us really care. You know, it's the first league title in 19 years, so it'd be amazing if we do it. But going forward into next season, we do have to make sure we're more competitive in them cups for sure. But yeah, we look unstoppable. And I think that Liverpool game where we've been to Tottenham and got the win, you know, we've kind of leveled up everywhere we've been this season. The only 2 places where we've got to do it is Man City and Liverpool. If we can go to Anfield and get something out of that game, i.e. a win or a draw, yeah, preferably a win. I agree with you, Kenny. I think the league will be done. Yeah, and I think Man City are raising an eyebrow and think, they ain't catchable. They ain't catchable. They'll still have a go. Of course they will. They ain't going to give up. But if they're still in Champions League, which I'd expect them to be, so I think they'll beat Bayern comfortably, then yeah, they might just think, okay, well, let's just give the Champions League a go and move on and go again next season. But Jez, somebody put a comment in a while ago, but I'm going to come back to, but about next season and signings in the summer. But before we go to that, I want to ask you about our player of the season. Who for you? I'll put a poll up on the channel about our player of the season. And I mean, at the end of the day, we could probably pick between about 7 or 8 of them, couldn't we? Like I could only do 4 on the poll. The poll I put out was Gabriel Magalhaes, Thomas Partey, Saka, and I think I put Xhaka. I think they were the 4. But you could literally put Ben White in that list. You could put Zinchenko in that list. Martinelli's got a shout. He's top goal scorer this season for us in the league. Literally, oh no, it was Odegaard I put in there. Sorry, I'm lying. It was Odegaard. Odegaard's another one. Xhaka's another. Who's your player of the season? Give us your top 3.
Top 3. For me, quite easy. Saka. I think he's been immense for a young player. I think at times he's been unplayable. And I will also say Thomas Partey. I think I absolutely love that guy. Some of the games he just is so calm, cool, collected, physically strong. I mean, yesterday he just strolled around that midfield. Palace couldn't get near him. So he's definitely one for me. And I'm going to say this. You're going to laugh at me for this one. Xhaka, my favourite player. I think he's been unbelievable this season. That man has completely got a different mindset. I don't know why or how or what Arteta or some psychologist has done to him. I have no idea. But he's immense. He's brilliant. And I take back what I have said about that man because he's certainly impressed me. And I have to say, to actually make me change my mind takes an awful lot. And fair play to him. So out of them 3, that's my choices.
No, good choices. And listen, there's a lot of people agreeing in the chat. Thomas Partey, a lot of people saying Saka, Odegaard, Partey in that order, says TJ. And this is the thing. It's actually nice that we can sit there and decide who's our player of the season from about 8, 9, 10 play. Even the goalkeeper gets a shout. Let's be real. The whole lot of that starting 11 pretty much. But Kenny, what about you, mate? Who's your player of the season or your 3?
Well, 3 are Partey, Saka, and Odegaard. I think if you look at Partey, well, Partey is the team. He is the team. Everyone talks about Xhaka's improvement. He gets a lot of kudos and he deserves it. But Thomas Partey, is one of the architects and enables him to getting advanced positions and hurt the opposition. So it's a no-brainer for me in terms of including Thomas Partey. Saka's just fantastic. I mean, he scored 12 goals, and I see that a lot of people put emphasis on assists as well. He's got double-figured assists as well, and Odegaard as well is playing fantastic football. It's quite ironic that, you know, we've asked for output from you know, like players who are not centre forwards, but who don't have that much, you know, defensive responsibilities, and these two do it. You know, we were told many times that if we don't support Mesut Ozil, we don't know football. Well, this is facts now. For a player, Mesut Ozil had all that lack of responsibility in terms of defensive responsibility, but I'm sorry, he's not producing numbers that Odegaard's producing, or, you know, Saka's producing. Now, don't get me wrong. In terms of natural football ability, they're not on his level. Saka and Odegaard, and I'll say that, you know, in terms of natural football ability, Mesut Ozil's got a unique footballing ability. But the reason why I was hard on him is because I know that in order for us to be a better football team and win trophies, being in contention for winning the league, we needed more from Mesut Ozil. We didn't get that. Yes, people were going to put down, oh yeah, he was a catalyst to us winning the cup. Not really. I think that, you know, there was other players like Santiago Cazorla, who again is more, who's one of our best players, most technically gifted players we've ever had. You know what I mean? But it just says you something. When good players and players with flair work hard, you see the results. And that's why I tip my hat off to Saka. You know, he gets better and better. It's going to be scary what he's going to be like when he finally hits his prime. If he stays injury free, we're talking about a player, regardless of who he plays for, who will get probably about between 150 and 200 career goals, and probably about 100 assists throughout his career. Plus, he'll be in double figures for in terms of international goals for his country. He's that good. I don't think we underestimated how good he was. I mean, when we first came to football club, all we talked about was, yeah, he was a left back. He could play left back, and then he could play further forward in terms of left wing. But I didn't know he had that to his repertoire. And I'm just thinking, it's going to be scary. It's scary, you know, how good he is. And he's strong as well.
Sorry.
And Odegaard as well. When we got him back from Madrid, I wasn't exactly pushing it, but again, just wants the ball all the time, wants to be involved, you know, wants to score goals, wants to, you know, to like I said, get involved and produce his numbers. You can't knock his numbers. He is a creative player with an end product. You know, he works hard. He's involved in every game. There was, you know that regardless of how well we play it in the Northwest, he'll turn up. We might get defeated in both games, but he'll turn up and try and make an influence. You couldn't say that with Ozil. He probably never needs to turn up. That's not a dig at Ozil. It's just stating facts. When you talk about great players, those two are an example of great players of end product who still want to do it week in, week out. And then when great players play like that, team does well.
Yeah, absolute facts. This comment from Indigo Guna as well. Odegaard actually runs. That's exactly the difference. He will actually put a shift in. Yeah, and listen, I weren't his biggest fan. Yeah, this season he's been brilliant. Yeah, for me, my three players of the season this season, for me, Saka's number one. Yeah, I think to go up again another level from last season and the season before. Yeah, and the fact that we're in a title race, we're top of that race, we're leading. Yeah, I think he's been nothing short of sensational. The amount of times that boy gets kicked is insane. Yeah, and he's as strong as an ox. Like, he doesn't look very strong. He looks tiny. Yeah, but mate, unbelievable. Yeah, Thomas Partey number 2 for me. Yeah, somebody put in the chat a minute ago, he's the glue in midfield, like that holds it all together. Absolutely unbelievable when he's in full flow, mate. He's a joy to watch, and he's been really, really good this season. Number 3, there's a whole host of them I could put at number 3. Yeah, I'm putting Ben White number 3. Yeah, I think right back. I think he's been our best. He's been the best right back in the league this season. Yeah, and it's great that he don't get picked for England because he can't get injured. So cheers, Southgate. Thanks for that. But yeah, I'm going Ben White. It was very close between Ben White, Xhaka, and Gabriel Magalhaes, to be fair. Like, all three of them have been really, really good. And Saliba as well.
Class. I wouldn't want to make a call, mate. I would not. I don't think I could sit here, in all honesty, and I could sit here for a month and say this is the best player this season. I couldn't do that because I think they've all been absolute class.
Yeah, rightly so as well, mate. Like at the end of the day, we're top of the league for a reason. And if you look at the figures, like we're only 2 goals behind Man City on goal difference as well. Like, so we need to pump that goal difference up, because if we do have a couple of slip ups along the way, it might very well come down to goal difference. Yeah, and I know they've got a lot of games that on paper you'd think, oh well, they're going to win that comfortable, but listen, there's a lot more twists and turns to come. Like, it's not as plain sailing as we probably think. Looking at the fixtures we coming up, I've got us down as losing 1 more game this season. Yeah, whether that's the Etihad or Liverpool. Yeah, I don't see us losing any of the others. It's only them 2 games for me. But again, it's not game's not paid on paper. Leeds United might come to us. They might put in a valiant effort and get a draw out of it. We might go and drop points at West Ham. Chelsea are coming to the Emirates. Who knows what they're going to be in at that time? They might still be in the Champions League. They might have beaten Madrid. Yeah, all of a sudden it's a different game. I don't know. But there was a super chat here that I want to read out as well. And big up, man. There's over 400 people in here. Make sure you are subbing to JEZ'S channel, Arsenal History and More. The link is in the description. And KennyKen1972 on Insta. Only 100 likes, though. That's not great. That's like 25%. Come on, let's get that boxed off real quick. But this super chat from Sanjit said, how well do you think this team can do in the Champions League? I'm desperate for success in Europe. Wenger was let down over 2-legged games. Wenger was let down over 2-legged games, but Wenger was also a very, very big part of the reason why we never won it. Very shoddy transfer business at times and not doing what was required, just hoping that the players that he'd put faith in did the business. But let me start with you on this, Kenny. What do you think we can do in the Champions League? Obviously, we were extremely peed off the other night when we got knocked out against Sporting Lisbon. A lot of people, the majority of people, saying we haven't got the squad depth, etc., etc. Do you see that being an excuse next season if we don't do very well? And how well do you think we can do in the Champions League?
I think it would 100% be an excuse if we don't do in the Champions League, because the simple reason is that, again, they're going to be talking about, oh yeah, it's going to be hard for Arsenal and that squad to play, Wednesday to Saturday or Tuesday to Saturday, whatever done. But let's not forget, we've had the graveyard shift for quite a while, albeit in what I regard respectfully as an inferior competition. We have been playing Thursday to Friday for a long time, so we have been used to that. One thing we will have to do, and like I said, the callers and the viewers have got the right point, is that we can get away with having that kind of squad in the Europa League, because in the group stages, the football's just pitiful. But when you come up against really good teams, I suppose you can stretch it to the maybe to the knockout. Through the knockout stages, not so much past the quarterfinals, but in terms of the Champions League, you are playing top teams. We won't be seeded. I don't think it'll be seeded. So for us to cope with the Champions League, with this current squad, we'll struggle, because considering that, we play Sporting Lisbon and they kind of control possession and control the tempo game, and they didn't even get at their group stage when they should have. We're going to be playing teams who are good Champions League teams. Not only are they good teams, they have experience of playing this competition for a long time, and they have got top players because they're in the competition. So the level of player has to go up in every position. I say it respectfully, players who helped us win the league may have to be sacrificed and let down, because that's what happens in football. Football's a ruthless sport. It's the same with the Champions League play. We can't have Europa League players playing next season for us, especially in that competition. We need, if Matt Turner doesn't up his game, then we're going to have to get a goalkeeper that does push Ramsdale, because this is the Champions League. Because Ramsdale will be playing because it's the Champions League, but we're going to need someone who's as good as Ramsdale, who's going to push him. And if Ramsdale's having any Willie Young moments or George Wood moments, out it goes. Someone as good as him takes over. That's the level of play we're going to need. And the same with we need another striker. Go and get him. We need another midfielder alongside Partey. We've been saying, go and get him. We probably need the right back, because maybe we need someone to push Benjamin White, or someone who's actually a right back. Go and get him. If you're not happy with Kieran Tierney or Zinchenko, and you want someone who can defend, because guess what? In the Champions League, we may not be dominating possession as we like. Teams will, play the slow game and then quick when it comes into the past the halfway line, they start hitting us with numbers. Maybe Shevchenko's way of playing may not be compatible with that. So get a player like that. That's the levels now we've got to go by now. Can't go back to being top 4 Arsenal, just having players who make up the numbers. Those players, you say thank you very much, thank you for your service. We love you. You're always welcome at the club, but right now we're at a different level. Has to happen. Guardiola did that in 2016, 2017. He went from Claudio Bravo to Edison. The same with Klopp. Look what he inherited and look what he got until he's gone on Silly Street. One of the reasons why our rivals in the Services Road are struggling is because they haven't got better. They've gone backwards and they haven't got the players and the caliber or playing the caliber of football that is, how do I say it, conducive to doing well in the league and challenging the Champions League. That's just facts. Get better players than we have now. Yes, it's going to be a fantastic achievement. I didn't say when we win the league because that's a bit dangerous, but if we do, fantastic. But move on. Enjoy it, celebrate, cry, say it's the best day of your life, go on holiday, kiss everyone you don't know. Brilliant. But come August, more business.
Absolute facts, mate. We can't just rest on our laurels and hope that we just happen to win it again. We've got to go again. As soon as that season starts, forget that title. Now go and win this one. Yeah, and that's something that Alex Ferguson used to do at Man United all the time. Great, we've won it, cool, back, fantastic, blah, blah, blah. But we're here to win it again. Yeah, and it's like you don't just sit on that. And this is why we've gone for 19 years without one, mate. Yeah, and listen, I'll be honest. Arteta looks like he's got that hunger in his belly. It looks like he wants to keep going and going and going. And listen, we ain't won it yet. So, he ain't going to take his eye off the ball. And he's going to want to get that wrapped up. And once we get it wrapped up, go and party for the summer, do what you got to do. Day one, back in training, we're on the title again. And a lot of them players might not be there, like you said. Yeah, the likes of Reece Nelson, Eddie Nketiah, Rob Holding, players like that. Jorginho might not even be there. He's only just come, but thanks, mate. See you later. Tina Turner as well, another one. There could be a few players out the door. Tommy Asu's another one. Yeah, he's ruled out for the rest of the season. Again, if you can't rely on players, Kieran Tierney, another one. Like, you don't rate him. He played him at the weekend. He was superb. But is that a player that he's going to keep for next season? Maybe not. And if it's somebody, Smith Rowe's another one. Can't rely on you all season, mate. See you later. So, what about you, Jez? What do you make of it all?
Yeah, I mean, look, we know how tough the Champions League is. We've been in it. We have got to one final. So we haven't done great, to be honest with you, have we? So we need, I mean, if we're going to get Champions League this season, next season. That's a given. So Edu and his crew seriously need to be looking now, and I mean now, to actually look at strengthening this squad for that event next year. The squad we have currently is good, but it's not great. It's not great. And we've seen too many times in the past that we go in without the ability to actually get these sort of things over the line. And, Arsenal being one of the biggest clubs in Europe, right, are crap in Europe. We got knocked out on Thursday night against Sporting Lisbon because we just didn't have the squad depth or quality in that team to win at home. That is shocking. It's appalling. They need to, we've got to, if we're going to take this bloody seriously, as you quite rightly said, Alex Ferguson always, it's rinse and repeat. He just went on and on, relentless. So we need to invest big time. And if the Cronkies are serious about Arsenal, if we win the Premier League, and we will be in Champions League, then they must invest. Because otherwise it'll be an embarrassment. And you think all the hard work of this season to win the Premier League will be washed away. And, I hear people saying, oh, well, if we get Champions League, we'll attract the better players. You only attract better players, mate, to these people if you breed success. and we have to have success to attract those players. If you want to attract players from away from teams like PSG, Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, you have to breed success. And we've seen it time in, time out over the years. For 25 years, we were in the European Champions League and we had fantastic teams. But things let us down, poor managerial decisions, and the fact that we just could not compete in Europe. The Invincibles.
Putting too much faith in the likes of Nicholas Bentner didn't help.
No, not really. No, yeah, I mean, that Invincibles team was amazing. Didn't win the Champions League though, did it?
Nope, it didn't. It didn't. I still have flashbacks to that, mate. If Henry buries them chances, mate, that would have been curtains. Yeah, but it is what it is. There's just some sort of mental block we have in Europe. Yeah, and we've had good teams. We've got to finals, and every final we've got in the last 20 odd years, we ain't won. And it's, I don't know what it is. I don't know whether it's the mentality of the football club.
I could tell you. If we had George Graham for even one of those seasons we got into the Champions League, when we had those great teams, we'd have won one of those titles, those Champions League titles. I'm convinced of it. 100%. We had George Graham with his tactical nose. You had George, especially when he was at his best tactically between 1986 and probably 1993. The George Graham of then, and if we carried on going to, George Graham would have got the best out of that. Would have won the Champions League. He is a tournament manager. Whilst Arsene Wenger's more of a player that, probably more suited to the league, whilst George was suited to both. Let's not forget that team when we played Palma in Copenhagen. There's no way on paper we should have beaten that team. With Aspria, Broilin, Zola, Apolloni, Apolloni, Sensini, Pagliuca in goal. They were a sensational team, or probably of individuals, really. You know what I mean? Musi as well, great team. And remember, we had Ian Wright our top goal scorer, and we had the midfield who was in midfield? Was it Selly and Hillier?
I think Selly did play. Yeah,
Selly,
we had players like that. And
let me get the team up.
Yeah, and George Graham was still managed to architect that win. Scored early. David Seaman made some great. Brolin at the post. He made a great save from I think it was Aspria, and Zola was just kept the ball at his foot. That tactical plan from George Graham. We had him. We'd have won the Champions League once. That's just.
Great.
You can't deny it. George Graham tactically was was one of our greatest managers we've ever had.
Yeah, look at that team. The team that started: Seaman, Dixon, Winterburn, Adams, Paul Davis, Morrow, Alan Smith, Merson, Selly, Kevin Campbell, and if I missed anyone. I think that was it.
Yeah, Paul Davis is there, isn't it?
Davis, Paul Davis. Yeah, sorry, they've done it in number order rather than position order. But yeah, Campbell, Smith, Merson, Morrow, Selly, Davis. Morrow, Selly, Davis is the three in midfield. Yeah, and then Dixon, Adams, Bold, Winterburn. But look at their team, man. Their team was a joke. Their team was an absolute joke. How we beat that was mad.
Yeah, look at it. Apolloni.
Mad team, mate. Mad team. Sensini, Apolloni, Zola, Aspria. I mean, them three on their own, mate, could win any game of football. Do you know what I mean? Unbelievable how we won that. Yeah, even their bench was. Look, we only had 5 subs back then. Look at that, and you could only use one of them.
Yeah,
Eddie McGoldrick was our one. Parler, Dickoff, Miller, and Linnigan on the bench. Mad, isn't it? Actually mad, mate.
That's an inferior team. An inferior team. Yeah, that shows it. Can you imagine what he would have done if he had with Petit and Vieira, Adams, Overmars, players like Burkamp, you know what I mean? Those sort of players. Or if he had Perez in that team, you could work with Henry. You know, don't get me wrong, they probably would have grumbled a bit, but he would have made sure they got further in the tournaments and actually won one of them. He would have got them a Champions League medal, George Graham.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate, I agree. Yeah, I agree. Like, still have nightmares about Naeem's halfway line and like fucking shit like that as well, man. Like, it's like we even the final against Chelsea, that was an embarrassment under Emery. That was shocking. Like, you get all the way to the final, and we were the best team, like playing the best football all the way through that. Slapped up Valencia 7 over 2 legs in the semi. Like, and then we get to the final, and it was like rabbits in the headlights. It's like, why? What happened? Like, it's mad, isn't it? But yeah, hopefully we go out and do what's required. Yeah, because there is a lot of players in this squad. Somebody in there asked if we can do a keep or sell real quick, or keep or bin real quick. I think we should. Yeah, for the summer. Okay. Let's get the squad up on the screen. Get the squad up on the screen. There we go. Is that it? Right. Okay. Let's go through them one by one. Play along in the chat, people. But yeah, let's do this. Let's do this keep or sell. Share screen. There we go. Oh no, that's sharing my stream. There we go. Ramsdale. Obviously, I think we're all in agreement. That's a keep.
Yeah.
Tina Turner. I'd bin.
No. Sell.
Divided. Yeah, if we get the Champions League, probably a better number one to push Ramsdale.
Kieran Tierney, I'm keeping him all day long.
Keep.
Yeah.
Keep. Change my mind, keep. Yep.
Ben White, I think we're all going to say keep.
Yeah.
Gabriel, keep. Saliba has only got 1 year left on his contract this summer, but I'm keeping him all day long.
Keep him, yeah.
Kivior, I haven't seen enough of him. I have seen him. He looked all right at the weekend when he came on, but I'm keeping him. Yeah, I'm keeping him. I'm keeping him for now. Rob Holding, bin.
No.
Tommy Asu, I'm binning and getting rid of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zinchenko, I think we're all going to keep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thomas Partey goes without saying. Same with Saka. Same with Odegaard.
Yeah.
Smith Rowe's an interesting one, because if we get a big enough offer for him, I'm getting rid of him.
Yeah,
which would be sad. I think he's a top player, but he's got too many injury problems for me, mate. Way too many. So I don't know. What do you reckon?
I'm divided, because I think, you know, but then again, you can't call for ruthlessness and then have some sort of sentimentality, have some sentiment to someone who's hardly ever played. That's the thing. You know, sometimes you could be left out of a team because you don't play, and the team's got to move away from you. This season, the team is 100% moved away from Smith Rowe, because he's not there. He's evolved without him. You know what I mean? Even when he comes on, he looks like a lost soul in terms of, like, he doesn't seem in tune with what we need. So, yeah, I may go towards that. Yeah.
Yeah. Jorginho, I'm getting rid of.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. In Europe, because of the ball retention, I'm tempted. But we can get someone better. Yes, but I'm half, because of what he can do with the ball. But then again, you know, like I said, if there's something better, yeah, I'll take. I'll look at him again. I'll look at that decision in getting rid of
him. Let's go Fabio Vieira. I'm getting rid of. Loan him.
That's an hard one.
Fabio
Vieira. If he builds himself up. Thank you.
If he TJ said loan him to Gold's Gym. He can go gym with you, Kenny.
Trust me. Yeah, at the moment, it'll be great with me, because in Parisian is that I'm at a stage where I want to cut up. So I'm sure I can get him to do baby weights, but I'll work him. Trust me, I'll get him on his legs, and I'll get him around his chest, because he clearly wants the ball. He clearly feels that he belongs to the side. The only drawback, I suppose, is that, again, you know, next season has to be a season. He needs to hit the ground running. He needs to be pushing the midfield for a starting berth, because, you know, I think the club's invested a lot of money in him. But you know, we can't wait around forever, mate. Not every day's this isn't like how to say it, like the buses, you know, waiting for a bus. Sometimes we just have to get the train instead.
Yeah, 100%. El Neni's obviously signed a new contract, but again, I'd get rid. I would
Yeah,
have got rid.
he's not the caliber of player that we need in order to progress and to show we're a top side. No.
Granit Xhaka, I'm keeping.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that a couple of years back, or even last year? What a turnaround, eh?
It's a team. I suppose people who persevered with you know, yeah. I suppose people who persevered with Granit Xhaka have probably looked at the situation and said, you know what, you know, if he's got the right team around him, you're going to see him play. And I suppose the evidence is there. He's got the right players and good players around him. So yes, you know, we can't deny that he's had a fantastic season and he's scoring goals. I mean, he's doing 1-2s as well. He's doing 1-2s. I mean, who thought that?
The weekend like a striker.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's been feeding himself this season, but it's working. I think we're all going to agree Gabriel Jesus and Gabriel Martinelli are definitely staying. Eddie Nketiah, nah.
Sell.
See you later, my friend.
Sell.
Bye-bye. Goodbye.
Sell.
Trossard, we're obviously going to keep.
Yeah.
Reece Nelson's an interesting one because I think he's out of contract in the summer.
Nah, sell.
I would personally get rid as well. I can't lie. Yeah, I like Reece. I think he's a good little player, but
there's a big elephant in the room.
You can go and get an upgrade on him, definitely.
There's an elephant in the room, though. There's a massive elephant in the room that we've discarded. You know, we have to. I don't know. Each to their own, but the biggest elephant is coming down here because he's actually playing for Ream. Getting warmer. Balogun. That is something we've got to ask the question of because, you know, if we're going by how Saliba was, you know, how he was, like I said, eased into the team through pre-season, Balogun's numbers and his sharpness in front of goal, you have to think, let's have a look at him. You know, you could say the French league's a farmers league. Yeah, by all means say that. But the fact is that he does warrant some sort of investigation and a review of how good he is and how good I think he could be in an Arsenal shirt. We've all been excited to see him, but, you know, teams moved away from him. Eddie's been in front of him. To be honest, if Eddie's scoring hat-tricks, albeit against teams we don't particularly rate, that does warrant his manager's attention. But I think we all believe that, you know, Balogun excites us more than Eddie.
Oh, 100%. I think we'll probably all agree on the 6 sat on the screen that are on loan. All 6 of them are getting binned, yeah? I can't see any of them. Trusty, definitely. Tavares, nah, not for me. He's got to go. Cedric's got to go.
What Marquinhos?
Well, yeah, I was coming to that because they're underneath. But all 6 were pretty much agreeing they're all binned, yeah? Them 6 there, yeah? Right. And then we have 5 more. Maitland-Niles.
Oh, please. Yeah. Gone.
Lokonga, bin.
Yeah.
Bin.
Pepe, as much as I love you, mate, you're binned.
Gone.
He's got to go. Balogun, we've obviously just spoke about. We're keeping him. Yeah, we're definitely keeping him. I'd get rid of Eddie and keep him. And Marquinhos, stay at Norwich, mate.
Yeah.
What about you, Kenny?
I don't know. I suppose depends what it is. Is that it was sometimes, right, we do send our youngsters off to leagues like the Championship where there's less protection and it's a hard league to see what he could do. And I think, you know, maybe we can have a look at him. He's still a kid anyway. Pepe is just a victim of circumstance. The way we play is just too quick, you know, in terms of not just from a physical point of view, but from a mental point of view. And it's just like we just don't cater for players who need that much time on the ball. Not from where he plays. It's just can't happen, mate. It's a shame because, you know, but, you know, sometimes, you know, I say it respectfully, maybe he's in an Ozil type kind of player to the extent that the football ability, technical ability is there. There's no doubt. If you look at all the technical players we have at this football club, for me, just by the naked eye, he's clearly got the most footballing ability out of all of them. He's got more footballing ability than Saka in terms of technical ability, but that's not going to win me a football match. He's probably got just as much more technical ability than Odegaard, but that's not going to win me a football match. You know, having skill and be able to do all these flicks and kick ups and a bit of skill, that only comes off probably out of probably 3 out of 10 times. Yep. Odegaard and Saka gives us 10 out of 10, gives us performances in 10 out of 10 games. Not so much 10 out of 10 performances, but they're there and they're competing every game.
10 out of 10 games in a row. Yeah.
These luxury players like Pepe and Ozil are just no good to us anymore. It's no good.
No, mate, listen, there's not many teams, elite level football teams, that consistently keep winning that have these flair merchants in their team. Right, let's be real with it. Like, they don't. Like, there'll be players that can do that, but ultimately it's work rate. Yeah, like I watched the El Clasico last night. Yeah, and for as good as Vinicius Jr. is, he ghosted pretty much the whole game. I know he got the shot that ended up going in, off of the defender, but ultimately, I like watching Vinicius Jr. I think he's a top player, but ghosted the game. Yeah, like, when was the last time Saka fully ghosted a big game? I can't remember. Yeah, I can't remember seeing, like, he's that good in big games, Saka. He normally turns up and scores in big games. So, yeah, man, it's mad. And like, we've just gone through that whole list. That just goes to show how well we've done this season, because a lot of them players, forget the low knees, but a lot of them players in that squad shouldn't be it. Yeah, and the fact that we're still top, 8 points clear with them in the squad, then there's a lot of room for improvement still. Like, and we can get better. Like,
they contribute as well.
If we win the title this season, that is not well done, that's it, pack up shop. It's no, now get rid of him, and him. Go and replace him with top players, and now we kick on and retain the title. We go for the Champions League. Yeah. No, I mean, people are going back to Ronaldinho days. I mean, yeah, come on, we're talking 20 years ago here. Come on, how many of these flair players are in the game now? I mean, every time I watch PSG, Neymar flatters to deceive. And he's a fantastic footballer, but he flatters to deceive every time I watch him. Yeah, he got all the skill in the world. He can do rainbow flicks and all of that. Well done, mate. How many times does a rainbow flick win you a game? It don't.
Look, thing is, Lee, if fair players want to survive, in English football, in football in general, the work rate has to be up for it. They're not going to tolerate players who just don't work hard. It's not going to happen. You have to work hard, mate. Now, you play. If you talk about the top managers in England and you top managers in Europe, Pep, you're not walking in his team. Klopp, you ain't walking in his team. And those fact they're the 2 top managers in the league. And Ten Hag is arguably a top manager as well. You're not walking in his team. If you look at Man United's performances, the reason why they've gone back to the silliness of Solskjaer and Rangnick is that they started walking again. They're not running again. They should have got, for all intents and purposes, Fulham should have smashed to pieces. So he's going to rectify that. But for these 3 top managers,
it's funny because when you look at Man United's team that started yesterday, every time I watch Man United with Harry Maguire in the team, it's like he sucks out all the confidence of every other player. Like, I'm not just blaming him, because it's not just him, of course, but it seems like every time Harry Maguire plays for Man United, they play crap. Literally every time.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They got a battle on hands in order to bridge the gap between the first team. And it's a shame that an 80 million player who is an England stalwart is deemed by all 3 of us as an also-ran amongst the squads or second string. It's quite extraordinary how he's declined. But then again, his decline was always, going to be happening if you don't move with the times. And I think with flair players, you want to play, then you've got to do it. The reason why Messi and Ronaldo get those numbers, not because they're great players and their levels, in terms of ambition above everyone else, because they work hard. There was a time Cristiano Ronaldo worked hard. There's no way he would have got all those goals without working hard. Messi works hard. That's the thing. And Mbappe has got his numbers because, believe it or not, he works hard.
And that's the thing. You can have all the ability in the world, like Mesut Ozil. If you ain't prepared to work hard, you ain't going to look great. When he was at Real Madrid, there's a reason we were all gassed when we signed him. It was like, oh my days, like, because Jose had him running. And he came to Arsenal and he was just walking around the pitch. How many times we've seen him up at Anfield sitting on the floor crying? Like, because he weren't prepared to work hard. Yeah, but when you look at top players and the longevity of top players, they all work hard. Every single one of them. Messi is the best player I've ever seen. Mad work rate. Unbelievable work. I know you like Ronaldo.
I'm giggling when you say that because that's a dig. I know that. That's a dig. I know.
I see your face. But again, Ronaldo, yeah, he has got work rate. He did have work rate. He did work hard. He did run. Yeah, like his work rate was in a slightly different way. But Messi, he's everywhere. Yeah, top players that stay at the top level for a long time, they all work hard, mate. Yeah, and if you ain't working hard, your performances drop, and all of a sudden you're not a top player anymore. You know, we've seen it with so many players over the years where you thought, oh, he's going to be a good player. And he gives up, don't work hard anymore. See it all the time, and it's mad. But yeah, before we wrap this up, people, I am live with Henry 1 minute ago. So make sure you come and tune in for that because he's going to be a meltdown, crying about Conte. And I'm just going to sit there spitting facts that Conte was spot on about their club. That 9-minute interview, or press conference, should I say. If anyone hasn't seen it, just type in Conte interview or Conte press conference on YouTube. It is the best 9 minutes of your life. Yeah, honestly. He's basically sat there, and it was all truth, 100%. He basically sat there for 9 minutes saying it is the history of the Tottenham without saying them words. Yeah, he called out everyone, the hierarchy, the players, everything. So, yeah, man, it's going to be interesting to hear Henry's thoughts on it. But either way, there you go. Perfect example of a player that worked his nuts off to get to where he was and then stopped working hard. Yeah. And now he's sitting in the stands watching Besiktas play football because he's been banished from the squad. Told to sit in the stands till he runs up, mate. Yeah, that player could have been one of the best English players we've ever seen. Yeah, exactly. He was genuinely that good. Yeah, didn't want to work hard. He's a multi-millionaire. He don't give a shit anymore, does he? He's made it. Yeah, he can live for the rest of his life without having to worry. Yeah, but you'll never be considered a great footballer, ever. You'll never be in the conversations about great footballers because you gave up working. David Bentley's another one. There you go. Another good example. Waste of time.
He owns a bar. He was on Soccer AM. He was on Soccer AM, and I was thinking at him, I think, you know what? He fell out of love with the game, because it's hard work, Dave. That's why. You thought you could just go around and people you weren't gonna have to work hard. The game's better off with players without players like David Bentley who don't love the game and don't want to work hard. Good riddance as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, and you play for Tottenham as well.
Yeah, that fucking goal he scored against us, I'll never forget that little shit.
He kept on trying to do it every game for Tottenham. That's why Spurs fans started to hate him because he thought he could do it. You know what I mean?
Mate, he was only any good at Blackburn anyway. Let's be real. Only any good at Blackburn. But listen, big up to everybody who's watched, man. I'm spamming the chat with Henry Wright's channel. I am live on there in a minute. Jez, what you got coming up, mate? Let the people know.
7 o'clock tonight, match reviewing of Arsenal Palace. And then Wednesday night, it'll be the usual podcast, 6 o'clock with Kenny and whoever. And then international break, going to do a bit of history crap. And Kenny, I'm doing a quiz. I'm doing a quiz. Don't know when yet. It'll be during the international break. What up? God, I tell you what, mate. In this book, there are.
It's going to be our questions.
Unbelievably crazy questions. Unbelievable. So
you know what? You're not going to go past the 1980. That's why I'm worried.
No. This is good. This is right up to last season. It's brilliant. I got this for Christmas from one of my girls. So I'm just going to quickly say. I'm quickly going to say, she said, I had to check with Mum whether you supported Arsenal or Chelsea. How about that? Can you believe that?
Seriously?
Seriously? Jesus Christ. I said, are you having a laugh? I honestly thought she was taking the piss. She was serious. Gee, God. Mad. I'll tell you what, if she'd said, I had to check whether you support Arsenal or Tottenham, I'd have disowned her. Gone.
Make sure you sub to JEZ'S channel, people. Arsenal history and more. Link in description. Kenny, what you got coming up, mate?
Well, Jez has already told me my week's planned, really, isn't it? Apart from watching England in the European qualifiers, European Championship qualifiers, I'll be doing a podcast with Jez on Wednesday, and I will be doing like the quiz. I'm looking forward to that now. You know, like I said, there's no distractions from any Premiership football. I'm anti-social anyway, so I won't be going out anywhere. So I'll have time to revise. And there's no boxing as well. Well, yeah, there is. There's lots of Collier fighting, going to back to boxer, so I watch a bit of boxing. But apart from that, I'm laughing, really. It's all planned out. But as I said before, mate, before I go, Georgie Graham's Red and White Army, Georgie Graham's Red and White Army, and always Arsenal.
On that bombshell, we're out of here. I'm back with Henry 6 minutes ago. Make sure you sub to the second channel. Pinned comment. Go and sub. I'll be getting more content out on there, more than just one video a week. So keep your eyes peeled. In the next week or so, there'll be a lot more than one video on that channel coming out. But yeah, I'm going live with Henry right now. The link is in the chat. Make sure you spam the likes before you leave. Go and spam Henry's stream with race cars or saying, I don't know, go-karts or saying, I don't know. But I'll be there in about a minute and a half. We're out of here. Laters.
Come on, you Gunners.